Hello, everyone. So how's everything? Hi, everyone, those who are watching, um, tuning in. So, welcome to the Game Week 3 deadline stream from the Game Week Navigators. I'm Joe, and we have Aditya with me. So, today is going to be an interesting one. It's another early deadline again. And as you can see on our screen, these are the two hot properties that we're going to look at uh, this coming game week. So yeah, Aditya, how was your week?
Yeah, I mean, the game week 2 was a very low scoring week. That is what we were discussing
Mm-hmm.
right in our previous stream. And this week is like there's a good turn of fixtures for some teams. We have players who are on the chopping blocks. We have players that we have a lot of expectations for.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be an interesting week to see, especially the two guys in the thumbnail that we have. That's Jackson versus Alvarez. Do we keep Foden? Do we get in Foden for Fernandez? Do we sell United players? What to do Mahales? It's the same thing going on. And we've got few new injury updates. I think Madison may play is what we've heard now.
Yep.
Shaw is out for a few months.
Mm-hmm.
Mount is out for a few months. And I mean, a lot of interesting stuff happening now over the last few hours. I think all the press conferences are done. So I think now we have a very clear picture towards game week 3.
Yeah, I think some of the the team news that we just got is clearing some of the doubts as well. But really, Luke Shaw, in the injury, just came out of nowhere. He looked fine. He looked fine at the end of the match. It's just suddenly out of nowhere, there's an injury. I think during training, is it? So it really causing a lot of causing a lot of problems for owners. Okay, without further ado, let's just look into the fixtures. So I think we are going to start. Uh, I think in about 1.5 hours after the deadline, or 2 hours at least. The team news for Chelsea versus Luton. I think this is going to be interesting because most of us will probably start to target Chelsea assets starting on this game week um, against Luton. Luton did not play last game week. Their match against Burnley was postponed due to Luton's inability to get their stadium ready on time. So it's a bit, um, yeah, it's a bit tricky. But that means probably one way or another down the line, we're going to have a double game week for Luton and Burnley. Not sure whether do we want to look forward to that. But anyway, the next match is Bournemouth versus Spurs, and Arsenal versus Fulham, Brentford versus Crystal Palace, Everton versus Wolves, Man United versus Forest, and then followed by Sunday, Brighton versus West Ham. I mean, no, this is the late Saturday, Brighton versus West Ham, and then we got on Sunday, Burnley versus Villa, Sheffield United versus Man City, and Newcastle United versus Liverpool. So, Aditya, looking at all these matches, personally, which match do you look forward to?
I mean, there are like two games that I'm very much looking forward to. One is obviously being a United fan. I'm looking
Hmm.
at the game against Forest,
Yep,
and the other game is obviously we have Newcastle against Liverpool. So, two. I mean, in terms of for United, that's an important game. But in terms
yep.
of overall for the week, I think the Newcastle Liverpool is a very important game to see.
As a United fan, are you confident?
No, very sorry to say that. I'm not confident because you shouldn't get carried away with United, and you should not have a lot of expectations. That's how when we were doing the team preview stream also we were like that only. It's things are not going according to plan at the moment. We're getting
Hmm.
Luke Shaw also is going off.
Yep, and
It's
also Mount. I think quite a long term injury, right?
yes. Whatever Tenak has said so far is that Shaw is out for longer time than what Mount is for. I mean, why does he give
Mm,
such cryptic messages? Is very weird.
yeah. So do you see Malaysia is going to start over Mount
No,
for sure?
I think Dalo should play left back. So
Okay.
I'm expecting Dalo to start now. So it's going to be Onana, Van Bissaka, Varane,
Mhm.
Martinez, Dalo. Casemiro, Ericsson, Fernandez, and when we were doing the preview stream, I said maybe Rasmus Højlund. So what we've got the update is that
Yep.
he is on the bench for next week against Arsenal. So I hope Ten Hag plays Rashford, Martial, and Anthony.
Mm,
Rashford, Martial, and Sancho, but it purely depends upon Martial whether he's fit enough to play because
mm.
he's a striker and playing Rashford up top in terms for United is not working well, but in terms of
Yep.
FPL it is important. But
He's. I mean,
he has
he's
to
also
play out.
missing chances. He doesn't look comfortable at that position.
Yes,
Yep.
so if Martial plays, I think we should expect good returns from Rashford. Let's see what Ten
Yep.
Hag does. Really
Yep.
unpredictable.
Okay, before we go to all the team news, let's look at our own teams that we are going to go. You're going to set for the game week 3. Maybe Aditya, we start with yours.
Yeah.
Maybe let us, go through your team.
Yes, so this is exactly the same team that I have and what we discussed in the preview stream for those who joined, which we did it on Wednesday. And it's the same team. I have not made any
Mm-hmm.
change. So I have Onana in goal, followed by Chilwell, Estupinian, and Saliba in defense. Then Mitoma, Luis Diaz, Bruno, Saka, and Rashford
Mm-hmm.
in midfield. And then I have Jackson and Haaland. So I got in Jackson in game week 1. So, I mean, let's see how things go.
I mean, he both games he got a yellow card, and I mean he looked really active. He looked really hardworking. He looked really involved. It's just somehow and he also racked up those xGs. Just somehow he hasn't get a return yet, but hopefully this is the game week to get a return. But I like the fact that you have Luis Diaz. He's probably the best Liverpool attacker at the moment. But against Newcastle, it's going to be a tricky one. But yeah, we'll see about that. So no transfers made. So that means you're going to have 2 free transfers the next game week.
Yes, that's the thinking is very simple. It's to ship United players out if they blank again. It's very simple.
So yeah, you have both Fernandez and Rashford, and based on the way you say just now, I guess you're not so confident of getting any returns.
I want returns, but overall the picture around the club is not looking that great. Again, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it was a very demoralizing defeat against Spurs.
Yep.
So that shouldn't happen. And when key players get injured, that's another thing that you're
Mm-hmm.
worried about, and you're not getting the players that you want from the transfer window. Right? We,
Yep.
we were expecting few midfielders to be added, few defenders here and there, maybe another forward, someone who could cover up for Hoyland. So like if you don't have squad depth, right?
Yep.
You cannot sustain. Man City were
Mm-hmm.
playing good over the last few years because they
Yep.
had an incredible depth. Even they are
Mm-hmm.
thin now. Arsenal have a decent depth now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason I'm not that confident. But it's a home game. It's a must-win game. So I
Yep.
mean, there's a lot to expect from that perspective.
Yeah, I think Forest so far I think they've started the season I would say pretty well. They looked they looked up for it against Arsenal, and the last game week they did well as well at home. Um, Aurier with I think 2 assists. They look like a really good decent attacking side. So it's going to be interesting how Man United going to react to this. But I don't know. I think you guys should be able to make it through quite comfortably. So we'll just see about that. I myself own Fernandez as well, but yeah, let's see. So the next one we're gonna is my own team. So I've done 2 transfers. I've made 2 transfers. I finally dropped Salah and I got in Foden. Um, yeah, why Foden? I think he was the talk of the town when against Newcastle. He new I don't know against Newcastle. I'm not sure what happened. They barely. They barely even threatened the Man City defense. I think it was like what 0.3 xg or something like that. Only one shot on target. So basically, Man City was very comfortable, but surprisingly, both teams their defense is actually quite tight. Both teams. I think Man City only had like one xg or something, and both teams did not concede any big chances. So actually, it was a really tight game. It's just a moment of magic by Alvarez, through a Foden assist that actually got City the win. But Foden that game, he really bossed the midfield. He made a lot of key passes. He was so clever in finding spaces, through the defense. But it's just somehow, I don't know. We sort of like have this moment from Foden each season, and somehow he still does not start regularly, um, and we always say this might be his season. This might be his season. But yeah, I'm not sure. I brought him in because I look at Man City's fixtures decent, away against Sheffield United, then at home against Fulham. At least near short term looks good. It's just a bit tricky because they have their Champions League games coming up as well. So, and now Pep is not there. He got a surgery on his back, and the assistant is there. So I don't know what's going to happen. Um, but yeah, so we just see about that. So Foden pick, just looks like a good form pick. Hopefully he plays regularly now, especially with Kevin De Bruyne out. But yeah, I guess we have to see how is it. And finally brought him Jackson. Hopefully, for the both of hopefully he finally gets his return, um, for us. Yeah. But yeah, both of us, I think Captain Haaland here, and a bit personal dilemma. Not sure whether to start Pedro or Madison. Madison, I think last minute, just now he was declared. He was having his training unrestricted. That was the exact words from the manager. Unrestricted training, meaning they didn't need to be careful with him. I think he can do all the full training, but whether does he start, according to the manager, it has to see how he feels. So I guess we're going to talk about that later. But I'm not sure. I've been on Pedro ever since the Enciso news broke out. Enciso out for 4 months. So I put Pedro in the starting lineup. So hopefully he plays. So yeah, so that's my team at the moment.
Yes, I mean,
So
as far as
mhm,
what I see is that you were with Team Salah and then you went no Salah,
mhm.
and the only place I would say that you got the maximum points was from Mbumo and not from Salah. So
Yep.
that's the only mistake that the managers did who went without Salah was, I mean, it was a bit of a underwhelming return from United players. So what
Mhm.
happened was the second midfield slot was basically, I mean, the double midfield point of view was basically between Martinelli and Bruno, and the other slot was basically Mitoma versus Mboma. I think Mitoma was it's okay. It goes here and there, that's fine. But
Mhm.
the other slot of Bruno versus Martinelli is where I think a lot of people got burnt, and that's where the 6.5 million players and the 6 million forwards like Visa,
Yep.
Mbomo,
Yep.
they had the last laugh.
Yep. So I think we can talk more about this on the next few sessions as we talk about dilemmas of the week and also some of the team news and some of the tips. Um, but like captaincy options. I mean, like besides Haaland seems like almost a no-brainer captaincy options. What other captaincy options do you think there is in this game week? Maybe we just pull out the fixtures again. So these are the fixtures. Um, yeah, I mean, like, did you ever think of going against Haaland, captain?
No, did not. Purely based on, I mean, the fixture is one thing, and
Mm-hmm.
you look at how he played last year. That also, make gives you justification to go for Haaland. But you can go elsewhere, because that's what even when we discussed about captaincy in a bit depth in our preview stream, is that Haaland has not looked that great over the last two games. I mean, he's looked a bit tired. Obviously, the what is that Conference League game? I think he played full 120 minutes, and then against Newcastle again. So it was
Yep.
very tough for him. So Sheffield are going to be completely on him. They're going to man mark him. They're going to bully him here and there. So it's going to be typical Haaland-esque performance. He's
Mm-hmm.
going to out muscle them, and he's going to go for those second balls and all.
Yep.
So
Uh,
that's what you're
um,
going to look at. And I've seen few games in the past. I think there was one game against Sheffield where Kyle Walker scored and City won 1-0, where everybody was like, Man City, yeah, I'm going to captain. But eventually it was a very, tight game where Sheffield did not even leave the halfway line.
yep.
So
Yeah. I
I
mean,
expect it to be pretty similar. But obviously with
oh,
Haaland's caliber, it
yeah.
is you can't bet against him on this particular game.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the match against Newcastle United. You know, it's not that he did not get those chances. He still got those chances. It's just somehow he couldn't bury those chances. You know, like your typical Haaland would just, I don't know. I mean, he still get those chances, and he came close, really close. I think one or twice, um, and he could have easily scored probably at least probably one goal against Newcastle as well. But against this Sheffield United team, I think the Sheffield United game that you mentioned is probably like, I think, the last time where they are still in the Premier League. So I think they were still quite tight defense in defensively. I still remember we got Lindstrom, we got Henderson.
Hmm.
Um, those, they are quite a tight team then. But currently, I don't know. I look at this Sheffield United side. They did not. I would say they did not reinforce themselves much. Uh, Besides, I think that the latest news was Archer going to Sheffield United, but the news is I don't think they can make it in time for him to feature against Man City. So I don't know. Sheffield United this season, they are seems like not reinforced enough, but I guess we just have to wait and see how they perform against the champions. So I mean, I do see other captaincy options, people talking here and there, trying this and that. One of them I see is they put the captaincy option on Jackson. Oh, personally, it's not my cup of tea. Um, I think owning him is already good enough. Just to captain him is almost like, I would say, almost like suicide. I think others also mentioned about Arsenal players to captain against a Fulham side that is doing quite badly the first two games in terms of defense. They allow so many shots in and things like that. I think, I don't know, what do you think? Do you think Saka is a good option, or Odegaard?
So again, to come back to captaincy, I'm just going to throw out few names, because that's how it was, like one small list that which I had made just purely based on the fixtures. So if we go, obviously Chelsea
Mm-hmm.
Luton first game, we said Jackson.
Yep.
I mean, if you want, you go. It's a very differential shout. Bournemouth Spurs is, I had listed down Madison, but we are not sure whether it's going to start.
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal Fulham is, obviously we had three names: Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, and I think Gabriel Jesus is back. So we'll see
Yeah.
whether he starts.
Yep.
So that will make a good impact. We'll see whether that
Mm-hmm.
happens. Brentford also have Crystal Palace defensively are good, but Brentford are playing at home. So again, you have your Visa and Mbomo, not a bad shout. Everton Wolves, I am not. There's nothing to talk about captaincy. It's more about clean sheet points. So United Forest again. Uh, you have Fernandez and Rashford, but obviously I don't think anybody wants to get burned thrice in a row. Those who captain
Mm-hmm.
Man United plays 2 weeks. And Brighton West Ham again. It's a good game. So you have
Yep.
your Thomas Estupinians. your March. I'm not sure about Pedro and all. But it's complete confusion of what's going to happen there. Then obviously Sheffield with City, you have Foden, Alvarez, Haaland.
Mm-hmm.
And Newcastle Liverpool is going to be a complete counter-attacking game, so it could go either way. So not really
Mm-hmm.
captaincy to talk about that,
Mm-hmm.
but these were the sort of list of players that we
Yep.
had. In terms of Arsenal, right? Yeah, I wouldn't be, I wouldn't like say no to Saka in terms of captaincy, but it was a bit odd seeing him not take the penalty. It's
Yeah.
purely a
Yeah.
game-based decision, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, like when Odegaard took that penalty, all the Saka owners was like, oh no, he lost his penalty duty. I don't know. Personally, what Arteta mentioned that it was he didn't know as well. Firstly, the quote was he didn't know. Um, it was purely a team decision made on the pitch. So and probably Odegaard feel confident to take. Um, I think because I heard somewhere, I read somewhere that also maybe probably due to Saka missing a penalty in preseason. So I don't know. We just have to see. But I don't think he's officially dropped from penalty duties. I think it's just maybe relieve him of it, maybe once or twice, rather than him, being whenever he got a penalty, he will feel pressure to take it. So maybe if we see another penalty, maybe we will see Saka taking it again, maybe. So yeah, but I think overall captaincy seems like almost you shouldn't go for a different captain. I mean, this game week, I don't know. Last game week we see a bit split, but I think this game week we will probably see Haaland back to be the main captaincy choice. Okay, so now let's talk about some of the FPL dilemmas of the week. I think the main one, I think we also see some of the viewers start to ask questions. Um, Maybe I can just highlight one dilemma I see. This one. Oh, sorry, this one. Yep. Who should I replace Gabriel with? I have 0.5 in the bank. He blanked twice, so I need to replace him. Um, what do you think? Gabriel is quite a tricky prospect. He was benched both game weeks. Um, I think Timber now long-term injury. Tomiyasu is also out due to a red card. Do you see him starting this game week?
oh, I mean, when the same question I had asked Sankalp was, he was also like, just ship him out if you want, because if somebody gets benched twice in a row, that is not a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if I own Gabriel, I was a bit confident, to be honest. If I own Gabriel, and during the start of the week I was a bit confident, but somehow the quote that Arteta gave during the team news just now, it's a bit, I don't know, it's a bit I would say not so confident, a bit concerning. So what Arsenal, I mean, what Arteta spoke of, as you can see, this is from All About FPL. If you look at Arsenal, it says for Gabriel, a really important player for us, and there's nothing going on at the moment. So this is just to answer a question where someone asked him, whether Gabriel, um, what's with Gabriel, what's going to happen to him. So it's a bit of a non-answer from Arteta. Really important player for us. So what does that mean? Does he going to start, or is he going to be dropped to just a squad player? I think also amidst a rumor of a Saudi club trying to buy Gabriel as well. But although Arteta tried to dismiss it by saying, he's a very important player for us, he's going to play a lot of games for us. So how many games? Don't know. So a bit I mean, from this quote, it doesn't sound confident. If I'm Gabriel owner, I will probably look to ship him out, probably to if you can afford, probably to a Man City defender. Yep. I think he's dropped in price. Gabriel is 4.9 now. So if you have, I think just now H3M asked he has 0.5 in the bank. So if you look at 0.5 plus 4.9, I think only you can afford who? Bardiol. Yeah, I think you can only afford him. He's
Yeah, I think the quote from Arteta is pretty much like he wants to avoid answering it.
yeah.
So that's the perfect way to say.
Yeah, if you're confident that Gabriel is, you're happy with him, you are confident in him, trust him, you will say, yeah, you'll be confident to say he will start. He starts for us. He's our first 11. But he's trying to avoid. So usually avoid meaning something different as well. So it's a
I
bit
would,
tricky.
uh, I would say, as you said, a City defender. So if I quickly go and I am checking Man City defenders, so what do we have there? So we have basically have I think Wardiol, Akanji.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I don't know if I think Ruben Diaz is back. I think Ruben Diaz would be the safest bet, but
Yep. Yeah, he's
if not,
5.5.
I would say you go for Destiny Udogie. Uh,
Mm.
he's not a bad
Mm-hmm.
shot over the next 3 weeks. He's
Yes.
just
Yes.
4.5. You can take the
Good
money out.
choice.
You can just forget the point one you lost and just downgrade, and then you can go for a City defender later,
Yeah,
because
I
it's
think
going to be complete chaos. We don't know who's going to play for City.
Yeah, I mean, talking about Udogi, I think he had a really good chance against United. A big chance saved by Onana, and he really bombs that flank. He looks really attacking. So I mean, some might say Ben Davies might take away his minutes, but looks like it's its spot to lose. Don't think I think Ben Davies will probably come in and take up his minutes. Yes, but I would still think Udogi is going to start for Spurs, and 4.5 million, really really good option as well. Another dilemma is these two person, Jackson or Alvarez. Um, what do you think?
That's a coin toss. That's what I said. Uh,
Yep.
I was so when we were talking about Jackson midweek. I was like, he got 2 points out of 2 games, 2 bookings,
Mm-hmm.
and he's up for a prize rise, and he had a prize rise for 2 points. Somebody went up point one was really hilarious, because that generally happens when a player gets a 15 pointer, 10
Yeah.
pointer, and
Yep.
just
Yep.
good fixes. But seeing people just rush, that's I think purely Joe Pedro's panic of him not starting, so people didn't want to take a risk. So all the people who had Salah shipped him out and got in Alvarez. Sorry, even Jackson or Alvarez, both
Mm-hmm.
make sense. You could go either
Mm-hmm.
way.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, yeah, I think both are good options. Both will tick and give you points over the course of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson is more nailed, that he's the player
Yep.
who's going to play up front, because Nkunku
Yep.
is not going to be back soon.
Yep.
But for Alvarez, it's the fact that he's going to play alongside Haaland. He's going to play either behind him or at the
Yeah.
side on the wings. So you're basically going to expect maybe Alvarez to assist more than to score. But for Jackson, you're
Yep.
going to see him making those last minute, the last man runs behind the
Yep.
defense. That's what we saw,
Yep.
right? So
Target man. Yep. Yep.
it's your personal preference. I mean, City have good fixtures, so both are
Yeah.
excellent picks. You need to just see whether you want Foden, Haaland, and City defender, or Alvarez, Foden, and Haaland, and not go for
Mm-hmm.
a City defender. So it's purely based on your team structure.
Yeah. I think personally why I did. I wanted to go for Alvarez, but in the same time I also want to replace Salah, which is why I got Foden instead. And I'm thinking, if I go triple City attack, um, I don't have much flexibility if I want to bring in their defender. So, which is why I feel I should go for somebody other than Alvarez, and I go for Jackson instead, because I think what you mentioned, the points are all I agree with all your points. Jackson is the main person up top. and he's nailed for now at least. Whereas Alvarez, he's not the furthest person up top. I think against Newcastle he was playing quite behind Haaland, almost the same as Foden. Um, and Bernardo Silva is back, so whether Bernardo Silva will cause a bit of rotation, I we never know. So there's always that expected minutes doubt there. Um, so yeah, which is why I went for Jackson instead, uh, and also why I went for Foden instead of going triple up, because I mean it depends on I guess it depends on every team. So if you're looking, I mean both are not, no, there's no right or wrong. Um, for I see some even bring in both Alvarez and Jackson alongside Haaland. It's also a great choice. Um, but yeah, if for me, if Pedro wasn't wasn't I mean the Enciso, we don't get the Enciso news, and I'm not confident in starting Pedro. I will probably take a hit to bring to bring Alvarez in, maybe. But yeah, so I think both are good picks. It's just it really depends on your team. Right. So now we look at the team news. Team news. So I think we show this again. This is a great summary from all about FPL. We just talk about Arsenal. Gabriel Jesus looking really sharp. Trained full week, ready to go. So ready to go. Whether does it mean going to start or not? Arteta says we will see. Right. So Madison, like I mentioned just now, trained today unrestricted. And we'll see how he holds up. But at the moment, he'll be available. So I guess I think I read from Twitter from a Spurs fan by the name of Baker. I think what he says is seems like from Postecoglou's press news conference, seems like he will probably get Madison himself to feel how to see how he feels, whether he's confident enough to start. But for the record, Baker thinks Madison will start. But for me, I don't know. I don't think personally. I don't. He's so important. He's a vice captain or role in the team. Whether will he be risked? Because we know sometimes based on his history he has a recurring injury. So whether they will bring him in when they need him. I mean yeah. So I guess we'll see. Right, Man United, Højlund train but won't be involved. Shaw rule out, like we mentioned just now. Mount also rule out as well. Trent Alexander-Arnold is fit. Konate, yeah, this is a blow definitely to Liverpool. He was only revealed today that he'll be doubtful. I think due to a muscle injury. So yeah, I think it's going to be a tricky game against Newcastle. Newcastle will definitely try to win, go all out to win this. And Liverpool, to be honest, first two game weeks looking shaky at the defense. So I think we will definitely see some goals in the game. Newcastle, Joe Linton fit, Lewis Hall fit in contention. Probably I'll probably think he maybe from the bench, maybe get a few minutes. Not sure. Emi Martinez did not train. Dangerous. I'm not sure who owns Martinez, but if you own, probably you have to see who's your second keeper. Yep. Chelsea news: Modric out. Caicedo ready to start. So we're going to be interesting if Caicedo starts. How the team dynamics are going to be. Broya and Badashil back in training but ruled out for Gameweek 3. Yep, for Brighton, as you mentioned, and Ciso out for a long period of time. And this is something interesting. De Zerbi confirmed that Ferguson is going to start in Game Week 3 against West Ham. So who's going to go out? Does Welbeck goes out? or will Pedro come in? Don't know. They also have Undaf. Is Undaf going to play? So it's a bit roulette as well for Brighton. Yeah, I mentioned Silva, Bernardo Silva trained as normal. Palace, I think, as it is. Brentford, as it is. Uh, Forest, yeah, probably we don't really we're not really interested in Forest. Everton, Iwobi out, Calvert Lewin out as well. Fulham, yes, Paulinho is back. Whether does he start? I think he should start because they really need him back because they've been conceding so many big chances. So, but I still think Arsenal is going to win this comfortably. Um, Bournemouth, yeah, West Ham, Kudus is going to be interesting. I think the agreement has been made, um, and I think anytime now he's going to be a West Ham player. What do you think about Kudus?
Kudus is an excellent player. He's a very versatile player. He can play as a false nine, as a number 10 out on the wings.
Mm-hmm.
He
Mm-hmm.
runs a lot. He defends well. So I think he's going to be an excellent player. He's someone that even United were looking at. I
Yep.
don't know what is wrong with that club at the moment. Other terms. So he's a good signing. I think he will play well. There's not a
Yeah,
doubt. In it.
and he's quite cheap as well. Compared to our current market prices, where we see just normal. I mean, no, I wouldn't say normal, just relatively lesser known players selling for 50, 60 million. But Kudus is only, I think, 45 million euro plus some add-ons. So I think it's a really really good buy from West Ham. But whether does he how he fits into West Ham is going to be something to look forward to. But on the note on West Ham, I think James Ward-Prowse, he fits so well in that team, um, taking all those corners, taking all those set pieces. He's straight away first game for West Ham, 2 assists. It's going to be someone. It's going to be probably an FPL asset to monitor as well. Okay, so that's all we have for team news. I guess now is the time we look at some Q&A. Yep. So let's see, Q&A. Maybe we do go to the first one. This is by Usam. Consider Martinelli to Sterling.
No,
What do you think?
not for this week.
Yeah.
I need to see more from Sterling. Sterling played well against West Ham. He was able to
Mm-hmm.
go through them.
Mm-hmm.
But the end product is very important. All the end product
Yep.
was going to Jackson. So, I mean, so
Yeah.
for me, you just wait for a week and see how Sterling
Mm-hmm.
plays. But I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to, pull the trigger if you were to make that move.
Yep. I mean, same here. Sterling, to me, is more. He's like a vibes pick. Martinelli, I think if Jesus comes in, this is what I read from others. If Jesus comes in, it will benefit. It might benefit Martinelli. But we just have to see about that. But I still think this is a very good fixture for Arsenal. So for any Arsenal attackers, I don't think you should sell any of them. Okay. This we talk about how to replace Gabriel. I think we mentioned if you want to replace Gabriel, you can go for Wadiel, since you have 0.5 in the bank. Other than that, you can go for Udogi as well, really attacking, and Spurs are having good fixtures. Okay, next one. Saliba versus Udogi and Martinelli versus Pedro. Wow, this is a bit tough. I think personally, I would probably go for both Arsenal players. I think the game against Fulham it's a really a good game for Arsenal, and they know it as well, and it's playing at home, so they will probably definitely want to get 3 points. And for FPL, I think it's also a good fixture because Fulham was really poor for the first two game weeks, especially in the defense, and at the same time they're not dangerous enough as well up front. Jimenez, I don't know, he's just not the same anymore ever since his head injury, and they're not threatening at all. And I think Willian is also out, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, it's a bit a depleted Fulham side. But yeah, what do you think?
Martinelli is better there in that bracket. But Saliba Udogi again is a close call. I wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
like. I mean, Arsenal with Saliba is basically you're going to get more of bonus in terms of the way he defends. I mean, the first game week they lost the clean sheet, but he was able to get an assist out of nowhere because he was in that particular place and Saka scored a great goal.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to rely more on his offensive points. You're just going to pray that Arsenal keep a clean sheet and and he gets those bonus points. Udogi is someone you're going to rely more on offensive points. So,
Yep.
and he's cheaper. I mean, if
Mm-hmm.
you want to attack, you go with Udogi. If not, you go with Saliba. But the other question is Martinelli, clearly.
Yep. Yep. Okay, fair enough. Okay, best 4.5 million keeper to replace Pickford.
No, nobody replaces him for the next 2 weeks. That's my
Why?
answer.
Why do you say that?
I mean, look at the next two fixtures just on paper. They play Wolves home and Sheffield away. Okay, both the teams are struggling to score goals,
Mm-hmm.
right? We know Everton will defend well. They're
But
playing.
but I mean, like Wolves look pretty good in their attack, quite threatening. Just couldn't score.
See, from a 4.5 million keeper, you shouldn't see goalkeepers generally in FPL don't give you a lot of points unless
Mm-hmm.
their defense is so bad that they concede a lot of shots and the goalkeeper makes saves, or he saves a penalty to get more bonus points and he gets those
Mm-hmm.
points out of nowhere. You shouldn't expect a lot from a 4.5 million keeper. If he ticks you about 3 to 4 odd points every week, you should be happy with that. I don't
Yep.
think there's anything wrong with Pickford for the next 2 weeks.
Okay, but let's say what if you just choose one to replace him? Who will you do? Who will you go for?
Ah, we had a very similar question to this where people were asking, they wanted to report both Pickford and Leno, and we said if you have Pickford, you don't, and if you have Leno. So you have one option is Robert Sanchez is a long shot here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how Chelsea defensively are going to be. That's one thing to see. Uh, other keepers are quite expensive. Maybe you go Flecken if you want for the next 2 weeks, but again, you're asking a lot for him to keep a clean sheet.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
like none of the options are that convincing, right? You're not convinced that the team will like, oh, for sure will keep a clean sheet.
Mm-hmm.
So those would be the only two options I look at now.
So Sanchez and Flecken.
Yeah.
Okay. Same. I agree. Okay, Vincent, give Gabriel one last chance this week. I have one free transfer left, up to 5.4 million. I think this is similar to what we talked just now about Gabriel to Guardiola. Vardiol, another one. Next week he's going away. Anyway, should I change to someone like Gusto or Udogi? I think this is probably similar to how we answered just now. I think Vardiol or Udogi probably is probably the better choice. What do you think of Gusto?
So it is purely team dependent. If your Mahales is sitting on the bench,
Mm-hmm.
or if he's starting currently, it's just purely how you're going to play that. Man City, see, you go with someone who you know is going to play, right? City defenders are complete. It's a roulette. You don't know who's going to play. Suddenly Walker plays, suddenly Akanji plays. All of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden Ake will play.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what's going to happen there. So uh, I think I will go with Udogi.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a complete bias because Spurs have played well. He has looked good, and their
Yep.
fixtures look good.
Yep.
So you go with
So.
him, and then maybe next week, if you want to ship out another defender, then you go for a city defender. It's up to that. It's completely based on how your team is and where you want to move your funds. If
Mm-hmm.
whether you want to, let's say, you maybe have someone like a João Pedro who you want to upgrade to Alvarez or
Mm-hmm.
Jackson. You need the money, so it's
Mm-hmm.
all based on that. Purely, it's a team game.
Yep. Yep. So meaning if let's say Vincent wants to sell Gabriel, you would recommend to go for Udogi.
If he wants to use the, let's say, the point for somewhere else, that way.
Ah, the okay, the funds to upgrade
Hmm.
somebody else. Yep, yep, fair enough. Yeah, I think I agree in terms of value. I think Udogi's value is good because he's only 4.5, and he's really attacking.
I mean, even I missed out. Even I don't know how much is Rico Henry.
Also,
So
I think Rico Henry did he go up in price? Let me just check. Let me just check
even if
quickly.
he's gone off his 4.6, that's not
Yeah,
bad. It
he
is
went up.
point
He
one.
went up. He's 4.6.
It's okay. It's still just point one more. It's not that
Yep,
bad.
yep. Yeah, he's a good shot as well. Um, really attacking. I think he created quite a few big chances already. Um, so yeah, Henry is another good option. Okay, next by Yajat Dev. I know this is a long question, but please help. Two free transfers, 0.5 in the bank. He has Pickford, Turner, Estupinan, Saliba, Udogi, Botman, Chilwell, Bruno, Rashford, Saka, Havertz, Mbuemo, Jackson, Joao Pedro, and Haaland. I don't know what to do.
Hmm. So full before we answer this disclaimer, if whatever we suggest goes sideways, we are sorry, we are not responsible. We are only going to guess. If it works for you, good luck. We're happy for you.
I mean, I think from here I probably think his first team should be Pickford, of course. Then Estupinan, Saliba, and Chilwell. Yeah,
Hmm.
and then he can play his midfield should be five: Bruno, Rashford, Saka, Havertz, Mbuemo. And then he plays up front is I mean it looks like a 3-5-2 up front, maybe Jackson and Haaland. So it means he's unless he wants to sell Havertz. So
I
maybe
think Havertz
Havertz.
is a definite sell for me straight away.
Yeah, I think you can drop Havertz to Foden
Foden.
maybe.
Hmm.
Yeah, looks good. So and keep that free transfer for game week 4 because your team looks good. You know you have even Udogi on the bench.
He has 15 playing players, I think, at the moment here.
Yep, you have Udogi. You have to be honest, Botman is not too bad of a shout as well this week if you really need to play him. So I would probably use one free transfer to ship out Havertz, um, and keep the other free transfer for game week 4.
Yes, maybe you can ship out João Pedro out, maybe, or you have Bruno also. So I think you'll have to end up playing a 3-5-2.
Yeah, you can
Bench
just play
João
three
Pedro.
five two. You can bench Pedro. Your bench will be Pedro, Udogi, and Botman. Looks good to me, to be honest. Okay, Ayman, who's better to start first, Mbuemo or Pedro?
I think he himself has answered this because generally the first choice is the ideal choice. So the first name itself is the best there.
Yeah, I mean, just to add more to that, Mbuemo, he's a talisman. He's on penalties. He is nailed. He's not even just nailed to start. He's nailed to play the full game. I think he scored the second goal last game week at the 92nd minute or something. So he is nailed. Um, whereas Pedro, yes, he's on penalty if he plays. Brighton is a really attacking side, but the problem is we don't know whether Pedro will start or not. So pretty sure the answer is Mbuemo. So yep, I think that's all the questions we have today. Um, let me just see. Yep, that's all the questions we have today, and yeah. So good luck to everyone watching. If you're first time here or if you have not subscribed, please click the subscribe button and click on the bell for notification. And we are also on Twitter and Instagram on @TGN underscore FPL. I'll just put up on the screen. just for a while. You can see we are on Twitter, we are on Instagram underscore uh, at TGN underscore FPL. So yeah, good luck to everyone watching. And we have another about 20, 30, 37 minutes to the deadline. So all the best, and may your arrows be green. Thank you.